BioWatch 3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about something that, it's been a while now since I've heard a lot about the IFYM stuff. A lot of it has actually fallen off. It's no longer a fad to fit Captain Crunch and Twizzlers into your diet and stuff like that. But there's still a lot of people out there that are misinformed, especially for health. Now, I think since you don't see the ramifications to your health right away, like a lot of people think that, where's Brady? You can hear him run around over there. A lot of people think that, well, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. And IFYM has bred the it doesn't matter individual. It's been crazy how much things don't matter anymore to the IFYM crowd. Now, let's talk about this for a second. So IFYM is if it fits your macros. That's what it stands for, right? So macronutrient is the, whether it's carbohydrates, proteins, or fats that you get from food, those are your macronutrients or your macros. Now, if it fits your macros came about because there was a post on a forum of all places. Like most time people be like, I read it in the forum. Well, then it's got to be real then. But that's where IFYM came from. It came from forums. And what happened was somebody was asking, like, should I have rice? Should I have a potato? And the guy was like, listen, as long as it fits your macros, it doesn't matter. Just eat it. If it fits your macros, eat it. And it literally took on a life of its own for years. And myself being involved in bodybuilding, health, fitness for decades, it was a shock that people were buying into this. But it really did, it was presented well, and it was presented to the point where this is fact, this is science. They used scientific studies to back it up and stuff. And what happened was now, here we are 4, 5, 6 years later, and most of those people are not even doing this anymore, let alone talking about it. But I want to go over something because science will prove to you that it does matter what you put in your body. It's not just about a calorie or a macro. It matters what kind of calorie and what kind of macro you put in your body as to whether or not your body responds and how healthy you stay, or whether or not you get disease or sickness or illness. Now, pay attention. So IFYM led to another kind of a movement. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter, bro. That's what I named this one. I am IDMB. It doesn't matter, bro. Right? When you say, oh, should I have oatmeal or should I have Swedish fish? It doesn't matter, bro. Carbs are carbs. It doesn't matter, right? Well, if we look at the glycemic index, whether you have a sugar or a complex carbohydrate, it does matter to how your body responds with that, right? So hormonally, something does happen to your body that's different, whether it's sugar or a complex carbohydrate. Now, after they're broken down, is it true that it becomes glucose once they're broken down? Yes, they both wind up in the same place. However, it's the road that traveled that is the issue. Now, we can take the glycemic index and say that goes right out the window when you add proteins and fats to it, which is also true. Glycemic index only works when it's just a carbohydrate and the response to that carbohydrate. Now, we're going to take that part of it. I think the biggest thing or the easiest thing for people to understand is fats, because people seem to think that there's no difference in fats. Now, if you actually look up the data, it shows that a saturated fat or a solid fat or an animal fat is harder on the body to digest than something like olive oil or a polymonounsaturated fat, right? Something that's already in a liquid form. Now, that alone tells you that there's going to be a different response from your body when you ingest those two different types of fats. They actually took a camera and they shoved the camera down this dude's throat. They fed him different fats. They watched how long it took for the food to digest with the added fats. And it was very clear that the saturated fats give the body the hardest time digesting. Now, I'm not saying you should avoid saturated fats completely, animal fats completely. What I'm saying is you should limit the amount of those types of fats for your body. Anytime you put some kind of stress on your digestive system, on your circulatory system, on your hormonal system, anytime you put stress on something other than your muscular system, like when you're training, we can take a lot in our muscular system. It does impede the way your body works, and it causes issues and can cause big problems. And some people don't even know that they've caused the problems that they have themselves after doing dumb shit like this. Now, we can look to 2 fatty acids right now, right? Omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, right? Now, you can look up tons of information on this online that they say, look, these have to be in balance, right? Not necessarily like they're dangerous, but they should be in balance. If you overuse one of these and then the other one, and they're not in balance, issues happen. Sickness, illness, disease, issues with your health happen if you consume more of one of these than the other. Now, do you need both of them? in balance, right? But just the fact that these are both fats, right? These are both fats. Well, these people and these people will say it doesn't matter. You can get all of your food, all of your fats from omega-3, all of your fats from omega-6 because they're just fats. As long as it's fats, it doesn't matter which one you get. But there's so much science that basically says that these have to be in balance or shit happens to you that is bad. How the fuck can you idiots out there talk about science, say dumb shit like this, it doesn't matter, when the science is actually out there? All you gotta do is use Google. If you use Google for 2 seconds, you could find out that you have to have a balance of these fats. You can find out that saturated fats are harder to break down than these. All right, well, harder to break down. What does that mean, Jerry? It means that your body works harder. So what do you think is more efficient? The fact that your body has to work hard or work easier? Let's put it in the context of a car. Do you think that the car going up a hill, that's this steep, which doesn't happen, floored all the way, is efficient, and the engine is going to have the same effect on the engine as if you're driving on a flat surface with the pedal floored there? Which one do you think the car is going to break down on first? The one going up on the angle or the one that's flat? The one that goes up on an angle is harder for the car to deal with. It grinds on the car harder. It wears on the car harder. All the parts, including the engine, harder trying to go up that hill because you're forcing it to do something that is harder to do. The easier one, which is on the flat ground, you're going to get much more use out of that car, much less wear and tear, and you get much more performance out of that car for the long term. Performance means your fitness goals. Long term means your life. Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do this, but the problem is people are so emotionally attached to this. Emotion. Like, I just want to eat my gummy fish. I don't want to eat that crappy oatmeal. I want all this emotion wrapped right here, wrapped up with this shit, right? This causes health problems. It causes issues. The problem is you don't hear about it. These people, when they fuck themselves up that are preaching the Pop-Tarts and shit, when they fuck themselves up, they don't come on YouTube again and explain that. Like, listen, dude, I was wrong. Here's the deal. I'm fucked up because XYZ. They don't do that. They don't admit when they're wrong. They just disappear. Or they talk about something else. Oh, something else causes genetics. It's this, is that. Dude, you've been eating fucking plates full of fucking salami on a keto diet for 2 years. And your body is fucked up now. Your blood work is fucked up. What happens if you think you take out the salami, which is all this fucking saturated garbage fat, because it hits your macros, right? As long as it hits your macros, doesn't matter, bro. What do you think happens if you add olive oil and almonds and take out the salami and all the shitty fats? You think your body is going to feel, look, and perform the same way? I mean, still the same macros, still hitting the same fats, but it's the type of fats that you put in your body that make the difference as to how your body responds, how your health is, and how you perform. Like, people can't wrap their heads around it, and I get so pissed off because they like to say, well, Jerry, there was a scientific study that's like, science, bro. IFYM is science, bro, because there are studies. This is science. This is your fucking health. That's what this is. This is your health. And there's more science to back this shit up than eating fucking Pop-Tarts after your workout. But the difference is this. When you fuck your health up, well, your health is fucked. Well, that's not good, in any way, shape, or form. But when your health is fucked up, guess what happens? Your ass is not going to the gym and fucking training hard. Your ass is not looking like $1 million. Your ass is not running around on Instagram like nothing else matters because you're fucking shredded to the bone, brah. And you're aesthetic as fuck, bro. And fucking all this shit is going on. That's not what's happening. You're fucked up with your blood work. You can't go to the gym. They want you to do nothing because you're so fucked up. You need to get this blood work taken care of and get your numbers back to normal. You lose out on all the time. All that work you put in the gym, building your you put more time building your mouth. But all the time you put in building your body in the gym and stuff, that fucking goes away because you're now sick. You have illness based on the fact that you fucked yourself up doing dumb shit like over-consuming sugars, which, let's be real, type 2 diabetes, think about that shit. That didn't exist when I was a kid. Yes, that's how old I am. I didn't go to school with Fred Flintstone, but type 2 diabetes didn't exist. There was no such thing as adult onset diabetes when I was a kid. You were either diabetic, you were born that way, or you're not. You were the insulin dependent or you weren't. You didn't have this fucking bullshit where you can control it through glucophage, glipizide, whatever the fuck else is out there. You didn't have that. That has been developed in my lifetime. That is a man-made disease in my lifetime that has happened by over-consuming sugars. Now, Jerry, how is that possible? Again, doesn't take the rocket scientist. The information is available to you if you look for it. If you look for in this charts, I've seen them. If you look where we went through the fat-free craze, right? And I used something called Entenmann's. It's a cake. There was an Entenmann's outlet in East Providence on Newport Avenue, not far from when I live. And I did the experiment where I did all the sugars and fats instead of having protein to see how it would affect my body using those Entenmann's cakes. Why did I use those Entenmann's cakes? Because there was zero fat in the Entenmann's cakes. It was all fucking sugar. It was refined sugar. It was all kinds of bullshit in them. Things like that popped up around that time. There were cakes, there were cookies, there were fucking fat-free milk, which had lactose in it, which again spikes your fucking insulin through the roof. We now know that actually they give milk to diabetics because the insulin response to, or the glucose response to the lactose in it brings your blood sugar up faster. So if you took insulin and took too much, they used to give you juice, now they give you milk. They give you milk and it boosts that even faster. So we're drinking products that we didn't even know fucked with our insulin, like milk, the lactose in milk and dairy products. Things like, like I just said, I mean, it blows my fucking mind that people don't understand these concepts because they're so concerned with getting big, getting shredded, aesthetics, all this stuff, which is great. But the problem is you're listening to people that have no fucking concept of what they're talking about. They're going by IFYM, which was a fucking post in a forum by someone who was not a doctor, someone who's not a fucking scientist, by someone who just fucking coached people. He was a trainer. He was a bodybuilder. So basically, this person, no matter fucking what they do on the forum, is giving out information that they didn't think. Well, this was not this guy's intention when he said, if it fits your macros, eat it. It was not his intention to create a fucking movement that fucked people up. And it has now since just about disappeared. People know, hey, I can eat some fucking gummy fish. I can eat some Captain Crunch and still get in shape. Right. But what does it do to you? What does it do to you long term? So I'll tell you right now, eating baked potatoes and broccoli and fish and eating like that, those clean, healthy foods that they call the bodybuilding foods, I can tell you right now, eat those for the rest of your life. You're going to be way healthier than you were if you fucking ate that other shit. So we know what happens. But the problem is it took time. It took time for people to realize eating like this, you can get away with the way you look, especially when you're young. But this shit fucking wears on you. This shit fucks your body up. This shit causes disease, causes illness, and causes problems to the point where most of them are not even around now doing what they were doing then. Why? Because they fucked themselves up. Some of them just quit because even doing that was too hard for them, let alone fucking doing stuff the healthy way. Health is not a general, a thing that people generally want to do when they want to get in shape. They, some people want to get healthy and they're more responsive to, like, look, certain foods would be healthier eating rather than other foods. But some people just want to get in shape. Well, I saw this guy fucking, and he ate cookies every day and he got in shape. Well, I watched this thing where the guy ate McDonald's every day. That guy ate McDonald's every day and got in contest shape, right? Why don't you go see where that motherfucker is now? Why don't you find out where his blood work and shit was done after that? Like, people are not getting it. When, I think it was Morgan Spurlunk was his name, did the McDonald's, I forget the name of the movie that he did. It was a documentary. He started eating McDonald's, and yes, he was gaining weight, but look, I gained way more than he fucking gained before in my life. I've gained up to fucking 30 pounds in a fucking month, all right, on my own. This motherfucker was eating McDonald's. He gained the same amount of weight, but his blood work is so bad he was going to die. The doctor told him to stop. It wasn't because of the weight he was putting on. It was because of the food he was putting in his body. He was only eating McDonald's. The food was very low in nutritional value and high in all kinds of nitrates and shit. It had so many chemicals in it, it was fucking him up just from following that for a short period of time. Now imagine these fucking people, when they're trying to eat McDonald's every fucking day of their life, or trying to eat gummy fish every fucking day of their life, right? He did it for 30 days. Imagine these fuckers doing it for 2 years. What happens to them? Eventually that shit catches up to you, and it could be avoided if you just looked at actual science, rather than looking at these studies where they said, what happens in short term if somebody eats a fucking a cupcake instead of a bowl of rice, right? They looked at a short term study of that and said, oh, there was not much of a difference the way it's broken down into glucose, right? Because your body has to break it down. It has to extract that glucose out of the food. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't fuck up the rest of your system long term. And there is tons of proof of that. We did one just with the fatty acids, and stack the sugar and the type 2 diabetes on top of it and how the body gets affected like that. Like, dude, all you have to do to stop type 2 diabetes from being a problem is stop eating sugar. That's it. You can still have oatmeal. You can still have a bowl of rice with a piece of chicken. You can have broccoli. You just can't eat the sugar. Stop eating the sugar and you don't have to take a glucophage. No, I know, because my mom did it. People in my family have done it. People in my family have gotten off their medications because they've turned their life around and started to eat better and take care of themselves better. Took me a long time of plugging that into people's heads, but eventually they listened, and the doctors were like, we got to keep putting you on meds. More meds, more meds. Well, by following getting away from this bullshit and going with more shit like this, I can say my mom, even though she has cancer and is going through cancer treatments, is off her blood pressure medications. She's off of the blood sugar medications like glucophage, glipizide, and stuff like that. Almost all the medications she had to take to be healthy because she wasn't eating a lot of food, but it was the types of food she was eating that was causing her body to break down. Now she's switched that, and all of a sudden with cancer, she's healthier than she was before. Her weight is down. Now, when you have cancer, your weight goes down, but she's in a stable weight right now where they're happy about. So she's able to maintain her weight, be off the blood pressure medication, no longer has type 2 diabetes, and has terminal cancer because she's eating different now. She's eating differently than she used to. She looks at food differently than she used to. And that was a big, big, big difference that, every time I talk to her and she gets blood work done, and it comes back better and better and better. And the doctors are like, how the fuck, they're like, you have terminal cancer. Like, you should be doing really bad now. But she got coronavirus and beat coronavirus with no medications. Here's a 70-year-old woman with no medications, beats coronavirus, a stage 4 cancer. I can't say enough about how much the types of food that you put in your body are just as important as the amounts of food you put in your body. But people seem to focus on the amounts and not really the types. And I think that eventually what happens is it comes full circle. You can only dance around this shit for so long before you go, hey, guys, you guys are the ones preaching Pop-Tarts. Where are you today? Because I'm still here. I'm still in shape. I'm still doing my thing. At 45, I feel like I'm 20. And I'm still here doing that because of what I put in my body. I'm still healthy. I'm still happy. And I feel great. Where are these younger guys that have been injured already? It took me 20 years to get my first injury. And that was after doing professional wrestling on top of it. These guys are getting injured, tearing muscles. All kinds of shit is happening. Bad blood work. Some of them quit altogether because they feel unmotivated and tired and lethargic. You're 23 years old. How the fuck are you tired? You should be able to work 3 jobs, have 2 girlfriends, and fucking go to school full time. And even then, only sleep a couple hours a night because you don't need it. But no, you guys are so fucking tired and your bodies get worn down and broken down by the time you're 28 years old. How is that even fucking possible? It's this bullshit food that you're putting in your body. Food is medicine. Food helps you heal. Food helps you progress. Food keeps you healthy. Food keeps you alive. And you want to put some kind of random bullshit in there with all full of chemicals? By all means, do your thing. Because you guys are fucking falling one by one and being left by the wayside. You're not even around anymore doing this shit. You know why? Because it wasn't fucking worth it. Because it didn't work the way that you thought it was going to work. It was a short time. And when you didn't capitalize on it and other people tried it and other people got fucked up even faster than you did, yeah, try telling a 55-year-old to fucking eat all sugar because it doesn't matter about his macros. And watch where his blood work is in a month. He's going to be in the fucking hospital all fucked up because he took your advice. That's the truth. I know some of you don't want to hear it. Some of you want to be able to eat whatever the fuck you want. I get it. But this is reality, guys, all right? I want to be a realist now, not somebody who lives in a fucking fantasy where most of these people did. And a lot of them, these YouTube motherfuckers, these Instagram motherfuckers, they wound up going back to the healthier foods and not talking about it. All you saw was them taking pictures of a bowl of ice cream, candy, whatever the case may be. And these motherfuckers had to eat the cleaner foods because they needed to put those in their body to hit their macros, right? And then they realized, well, if I want to get a little bit better, I can't really control the macros with these gummy fish and Twizzlers. I really got to adjust my shit with carbohydrates that are like rice, potatoes, oatmeal. I really need to really control it like that. And they wound up reverting back to these foods anyways. Well, you know what we called this before? We called this the off season. We would eat things here and there that we wanted in the off season that we wouldn't eat normally, but we didn't revolve our whole fucking diet around that shit. It wasn't like our diet revolved around ice cream until we started a contest prep. That's where it went. It went from a decent concept to way over the edge, and I think it got out of control. And some people, they got sick from doing this shit. They get sick from listening to this stuff. And the bottom line is, for as much as science, bro, and this is science, you fucking people, you hide behind science. You don't even know what the fuck science is. You have no concept of what science truly is. But you are, because if I say science, everybody has to back off because science is the be-all, end-all. Well, science says if you don't have the right amounts and right proportions of fats, etc., in your body, you get sick and can possibly die. Science says that. You can just Google it and find it. But science says that in many, many different ways other than the omegas. Science says that. Science says watch out for the saturated fats. Science says all this. But why do you ignore that? Why is it like that stuff doesn't exist? But because a Twizzler and a fucking bowl of oatmeal got the same results as far as turning into glucose, that's science. We have to follow that because that's what science be all end all and fucking that's how it is. We have to go with that. That's what it is. Nothing's ever going to change. I can eat Twizzlers for the rest of my life. So how do you guys pick and choose what science you listen to? Because half the science, you don't not only listen to, you don't even fucking know. Half of you right now that do FYM didn't even know that you have to balance your omegas or it can cause issues. Right? Maybe you do now because a lot of people went fucking crazy with the salmon and ate tons of fucking salmon and threw their omegas off and you can have cholesterol issues, etc. from stuff like that. But those of you that didn't do that have just been eating this bullshit over here and then eventually wound up being like, well, I don't feel that well, I don't feel that good, your progress may have stopped, whatever the case may be. Some of you wound up over here eating the cleaner foods. Some of you gave up altogether. Some of you disappeared altogether. Look, I love this shit. I mean, I have a passion for this shit. I've been doing this since I was 14 fucking years old. I have looked, read, and tried just about everything you can possibly do. Until they come up with a fourth fucking macro or a new body part that fucking we suddenly grew on our body, there isn't much that's going to be fucking invented. There's not going to be no new training programs about how to stimulate muscle. No, we know how it works. Everybody knows how it fucking works. There's not going to be any new ways to fucking rotate your carbs or diet because we only have 3 macros to work with. And we know that there's long, steady state in cardio. We know that it's HIT. We know that there's sprints. We know that it's Tabata. We know all the other shit. So everything has fucking pretty much been invented at this point unless our bodies evolutionarily change somehow, right? Or somehow there's some new macronutrient, like I said, that pops up. We get this new food, whatever the case may be, right? And we also have fiber, which people understand fiber. It's not a separate macronutrient. It's still a carbohydrate. It's a type of carbohydrate, right? Let's throw that one in there. Let's say you do all sugars or you do all fibers. Is there going to be a difference in the way that your body reacts and feels if you do all fiber carbs as opposed to all sugar carbs? Eat 350 grams of carbs worth of fiber. See what happens. It's 350 grams worth of carbs, right? But if you eat all fiber, what happens? Try it. Tell me what happens. So be aware, guys. Like, this shit drives me fucking nuts. I remember Al Thurston, one of my first mentors from Gold's Gym. My training partner Donnie and I were carbing up eating donuts. He said eat carbs. And we found out that there were carbs in donuts. And we went to Dunkin' Donuts and we bought a bunch of donuts. And we're eating those fucking donuts. And he walks in, he goes, what are you guys doing? We're like, oh, carbing up. And he said, what? He's like, you're eating fucking shit. We're like, yeah, we're carbing up. There's carbs in them. And he's like, you fucking guys. And he lit into us, man. He ripped into us. He said, you know what? I love this fucking sport. And you guys are making a fucking mockery of it. You guys are so fucking stupid, you do not listen. Yes, there's a carb in it. It's a sugar carb. He went through the whole thing. He goes, but you guys are going to fuck yourselves up. You're never going to be in shape for the fucking show. He went on, and we were just like, oh, Al and his stupid baked potato diet or whatever, right? And he was right. He was right. Us eating donuts never got us to where we wanted to be. Us eating donuts, literally, if we had kept doing it, would have fucked us up. And we were young. We didn't know. But the bottom line is, I feel like Al sometimes, and Al passed away. Al, I hear you. I know what you were talking about. I love this and I have a passion for this. I don't think there's anything I've ever really felt more a part of my whole life than the bodybuilding lifestyle in general. Health, fitness, bodybuilding lifestyle in general. And to see people twist it and contort it to make money for likes, for followers, for fame, whatever the case may be, or just thinking that they're smarter than other people and trying to use that to put other people down because they know science, bro. It's pretty fucking sickening because the truth gets lost, and the truth is really what helps you. Truth helps you not just get to your goals, but stay healthy and fit. And you know what? They say the truth will set you free. I truly believe that. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BioStrength.com is a blog. It's the truth will set you free. Bicep still there, and we are out.